The time is at hand.
Well, hey there. Welcome to In Dark Places. My name is Junebug Fugit, and I'm here to tell some scary stories for you. So crackheads, unite. I'm a little behind, as always. I have a good excuse though. I have a lot of projects in the works. Probably nothing you want to hear about. I'm trying to build a bookshelf, and I'm working on a movie. I'm still writing the book. I'm a busy little bee. I've been doing some editing in the break room at work because it's too hot to sit out in the car right now. And I have no air conditioner, and even if I did have an air conditioner, I probably wouldn't use it because I'd be wasting a lot of gas just sitting there like that. So I've been taking the laptop into the break room and working on the show, and I saw one of my buddies in there at the store one day and was kind of explaining to him that I was taking the laptop back out to the car because I've been editing the podcast. And I said, podcast? Shout out Adam. Yeah, I'm still doing the podcast. I pay $15 a month to keep this on the air, so I don't see why I would stop. And there's always going to be scary stories to tell, so there's no need. I'm not going anywhere. Just slow putting these out. In this episode, I have some Appalachian UFO reports from the month of July 2026, as found at the National UFO Reporting Center website. And speaking of Appalachia, it's like a dying little accent I've noticed. It's one of the sad things about the internet, the online world, the world getting smaller, people reaching across the universe and talking to each other or whatever. A lot of accents are disappearing. Have you noticed that? I feel that probably in another generation, there's just not going to be any more like New York accents or Deep South accents. It's just all going to sound the same. And then probably another 10, 12 years after that, if the world doesn't implode on itself by then, there won't even be any kind of like language barriers or anything. It'll just be like a universal language because everybody's on the internet now and stuff. It's kind of sad. I was at Dairy Queen. I think I've been at Dairy Queen before on some stories with my son Brandon. On Sunday, August 23rd, we were having some delicious cheeseburgers. And there was this guy in there with like the deepest, thickest hillbilly accent I've heard in a while. And it made me sad because there's not much of that happening nowadays. Everybody's just kind of adapting their own accent and stuff, and I guess I probably do it too, because I used to think that people would make fun of me for having a hillbilly accent. So I tried to conform. Now I kind of regret doing that. Like, one of my neighbors has a daughter that went off to college, and she came back and sounded nothing like a hillbilly anymore. After she went to college, she just changed her total accent, and it's crazy. But this guy at Dairy Queen, he was up at the counter in front of us. The kid working behind the counter had a bag of chili or something. I don't know what he had. And the guy in front of me said, "I thought you was bringing me a bag of money or something." And the kid said, "Huh?" And the guy repeated himself like 3 more times. "I thought you was bringing me a bag of money or something." And even I had to kind of try to guess what he was saying. And he just kept trying to have a conversation with that kid with that thick hillbilly accent. And the kid just kept saying, "Huh?" Because he didn't have a clue what this guy was saying. And then toward the end of it, the guy tried to make a joke. He said, "I'm so poor, I've been out licking trees. And I told a lady that she has to pull the splinters out of my tongue because I've been licking trees because I'm so poor. I had to eat the sap off the trees." And he looked to me for approval, and I laughed and made him feel better about himself, I guess, because that kid just could not understand that accent. And it's sad. But I have some Appalachian UFO reports for you, so just imagine these being told by hillbillies. Sit back and enjoy. This first report comes from Niles, Ohio, on July 4th. Now this is a red flag to me, because people always see all kinds of Chinese lanterns and crap like that. They think it's a UFO because they've never seen anything like that before. They think it's the Martians coming to invade them. So, let's see what we got here. Location details. In backyard, watching fireworks. Saw orbs like they were looking for something bright. Then 5 dark discs came in and hovered a while and quickly left, going north. Smaller drone type, orbs, blinking, and irregular travel. 5 unlit discs, about the size of a full moon. I cannot believe no one else saw these things. Never seen so many at one time. This one has a video. It's not much of a video, but it has a video. It's also on July 4th, so it makes you wonder. Deer Lodge, Tennessee. I was watching the stars last night. It was very clear, and I noticed several of the stars go into a triangle pattern and then disperse. Me and 2 others were filming the stars. It was a very clear night. Our elevation is 1575 feet. It looks so close, however. As I'm filming, I noticed several what I thought stars zipping around, and then I saw 3 go into a triangle pattern, sit there for a few seconds, and then take off in different directions. Struthers, Ohio, July 5th, 2026. Silver metallic flying object. No wings, engines, windows, paint, markings, or contrails. About 150 feet in length. Silent. At 7:45 p.m., we were flying a drone at about 100 feet in altitude, facing north. I noticed a bright but clearly metallic tic-tac or cigar-shaped object flying at low altitude from the north to the south. The other witness also took notice. We observed the craft move about 30 seconds and saw that it had no wings, windows, engines, tail fins, etc. The craft had no markings or color. The craft moved completely in silence and was only a few thousand feet in altitude. As it moved over Lake Hamilton, it changed direction to southeast and climbed in altitude, sharply and quickly, immediately into cloud cover. We watched it move in the same trajectory through the clouds and cloud breaks until it disappeared, all happening in complete silence. The sighting itself was startling, but the silence and the way it moved was frightening. This one comes from Morristown, Tennessee. I bought a house in Morristown one time and attempted to break free from the Matrix and get away from this prison here in West Virginia, but things fell through and I had to sell the house, and I'm still in West Virginia with a crappy job. If you know a way out, let me know. There's got to be a hole in the fence. I've got to break free from this place. I love West Virginia, but there's no jobs here, so I've got to move. Morristown, Tennessee, July 9th at 9:25 p.m. Orb-shaped and transparent. It was flying very fast, zigzagged. It stopped in midair, then it vanished. Saw it as clear as day. Me and one other person were outside, sitting and smoking a cigarette because we don't smoke inside. We saw a few blinky lights on the east side of Morristown, Tennessee, which we see almost every night, and I believe are from drones or something. But out of nowhere, an orb-shaped UFO, which was transparent and a glow color, was flying by at a very fast speed. I was able to walk out and follow it a little. It zigzagged and then stopped before it vanished. After it had vanished, we could feel this energy force. I say energy force because the hairs on my neck and other parts of my body stood up. The other witness experienced the very same things and feelings. This was not a man-made flying vehicle of any kind. We did not have our phones or any other technological devices on hand, as we were having a tech-free evening. So we didn't capture anything at all with a camera or video camera or phone, which I believe was the reason we were able to see what we saw. Usually we have our phones and cameras, but could never see anything until that moment and day. It's just unexplainable. And I feel even though we have no proof, these things should be documented, especially since we live close to the Knoxville and Oak Ridge areas in Tennessee, where I know there has been a lot of activity going on. I believe there is something out there, but what? I'm not sure what to believe, but I know what I saw and I felt something out there. Thank you for your time. You're welcome. Patton, Pennsylvania, 4:10 a.m., July 10th, 2026. Walked out to leave for work. I saw it by my trees and grapevines. It blinked slowly 3 times. It was roughly 4 feet off the ground. Then it went straight up to the trees. It stopped blinking and I lost it. The whole morning I felt very uncomfortable and also got real nauseous after seeing this whatever it was. Fall Branch, Tennessee, just right up the road a little bit from Morristown. I used to drive by there all the time on my way to Morristown. I should have kept that Morristown house. There's jobs in Tennessee. There's no jobs here. Anyway, Fall Branch, Tennessee, July 18th at 1:10 a.m. Red star-like light hovering in the middle of a severe thunderstorm before disappearing in a red flash. Went to casually and somewhat nervously monitor the weather late one Friday night. I observed in the sky southwest toward Greenville, another place I would also drive by. Started to move to Greenville. We were looking at a house there. It was going toward Greenville, what I thought must be a star or planet, but I thought it was odd since it was storming heavily, and there were no other points of light in that direction. A flash of lightning revealed that area in the sky to, in fact, be cloudy. I realized then that I did not understand what I was looking at. A red star-like light hovering in the middle of a thunderstorm, perfectly still. I was not able to observe it for long, maybe as long as a minute, give or take a few seconds. There was a possible faint emission of something out of the side of it to the northwest. Before long, a particularly bright flash of lightning struck behind me to the north. Seemingly in sync with this flash, the red light flashed brightly once and simply vanished. I'm a trained scientist and frankly don't have an explanation for whatever this thing was. And that is all of the July 2026 Appalachian UFO reports. Hope you enjoyed those. Good stuff. And I'll see you again real soon for another exciting episode full of spooky, scary stories. Thanks for listening. Really appreciate you. God bless.